Welcome to Ask SQL Family podcast. This is episode number 10, and our guest today is Dejan Sarka.
Hi Dejan.
Hi Kamil.
Hello.
Hi Kamil.
Thank you for accepting my invitation for that interview. Could you introduce yourself?
I'm Dejan Sarka. You mean like professionally? I am quite an old guy, so I'm in this business for more than 30 years. For last 22 years I deal with SQL Server from version 4.21, if I remember correctly. Please don't 4.21, if I remember correctly. This was the first version I started to work with.
At that moment it was Sybase, yeah?
It was already SQL Server, but it was developed in parallel with Sybase.
Okay.
And with 6.0, like 96, I started to specialize for SQL Server only. And with, I think 97, 20 years ago, I started to give courses about SQL Server. From 2000, I'm MVP for SQL Server.
From 2000, so basically 70 years right now.
Yes, 17, not 70.
17, yes, sorry.
Okay, I'm old, but not that old, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Where are you living?
I live in Ljubljana, Slovenia.
Here in this place.
Yes.
How long?
I've been born here.
Okay.
I spent most of my life here, except 22 years I lived in mountains in Alparia, northwest of Slovenia.
What are you doing for a living?
Well, I deal with SQL Server, so it means I do consulting, training, writing books. That's it, and also, let's say, I'm involved in projects, but only if I'm interested, only for some data mining, advanced stuff, statistics, and so on.
Yeah, so basically you're an independent consultant.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, also I know that you are author of the many of books. How many do you have on your account right now?
I'm finishing the 16th one.
16.
Yes.
Are you working on the new one currently?
Well, this is the one I will finish in a couple of weeks, the 16th, and I'm close to have a contract for the next one. Very close.
Which one was the last one? What is the title, subject?
The last one was SSIS 2017 Cookbook. One before that was SQL 2016 Developer's Guide. This is the one that we are currently updating to SQL 2017. And I am planning the next one is about data science with SQL Server.
So it will be about the R language, Python?
R, Python,
both of them?
Both. Always how you can do this advanced analytics.
What kind of specific tools are you using during your work?
Tools for development or
different area.
Okay.
Probably are doing different area of your work.
So I prefer for R code, I prefer RStudio. For any other development, I use Visual Studio, including Python. And for Transact SQL, I still prefer Management Studio.
Have you seen the new one? I still don't remember exactly the name. SQL.
Oh yeah, operational.
Operation?
No,
Yeah.
no, I didn't.
We are talking about the same.
Yes, I didn't play with that one yet.
Do you like that idea to release the application for multi-platform application like the
Well,
last
it
one?
definitely gives you broader market. So why not? I mean, I mostly deal with development side, BI development, and these things. So I don't really care what is the platform behind. So if I can get new market, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you think about MVP those days? I know that you have that title very long time. What do you think about this title those days?
Okay, so you know, it's a group of very advanced people, typically very nice, because this is more like appreciation for your community work. So without this community work, without sharing knowledge, person probably cannot be an MVP. Although as an old guy, I miss those times when we were like 17, everybody knew each other, you know, like one little bit bigger family.
Yeah. In that time, basically, this award started, yeah?
There were some which were already MVPs for 3-4 years. Kalen Delaney, Neil Pike, I think they became MVPs even 5 years before me, and they were the first two.
Wow.
I think even Neil Pike was the first one.
Okay.
Because I remember when we were talking about good old days, he was complaining that this program started to be overcrowded when Kalen joined.
Okay, this interview is not only about the technical stuff, not only about SQL Server, etc., and the related topics, but only about the personal things. Yeah. So, the first question is, do you have any hobbies? What is your hobby, basically?
Well, I really do a lot sport. So. My favorite sport is basically basketball, but unfortunately I have completely broken knee, so I still join my friends when they play basketball. I go to fitness and then we go to beer together. But like most of time now I spend on bike, also do some running and fitness and hiking.
Yeah, which is much safer for you now. Yeah.
From, let's say, love perspective, basketball is still the first one. And since we are talking about basketball, worth mentioning that Slovenia is European champion in basketball. And from time perspective, I spent most of the time on bike.
On bike, which is really good. Did you achieve some competition?
Oh, it's not for competition, although I'm pretty decent biker, especially on the slopes, but I'm not doing this for competition.
It's only for you enjoying, yeah?
Yes, we are group that frequently goes together on like some longer trips, and during warm season we meet, like there are some specific points, pubs, bikers pubs, we meet regularly.
How about your work-life balance? Because this is a very common topic right now, and especially for the guys who are working as independent consultants, it could be very hard to achieve something good in work-life balance.
I would say in general, in Slovenia we are pretty good at it, which simply means that we like to work efficiently, but also then to have a lot of free time. So if you look at other Slovenian MVPs here, Mladen, Matija, Tomaž, nobody looks too tired, right?
Okay.
So I think we quite successfully manage the balance. And personally, with my age, I even try to change the balance in favor of free time, less work, more free time. But if you look at Mladen, for example, he doesn't look worn off. I think we can do quite well this balance.
How you can do that? Because of the experience that you have, or
there are a couple of things. First, as an independent person, you are afraid to reject any job, any work. You think maybe then next time they will not call me and I will need them, but then you realize that around the corner is always a new customer. So rejecting, why not? I mean, if I'm already busy, if I already have full week for like 40 hours, why wouldn't I reject? Why would I work 70 hours? So I simply learn
what is your current limit? Do you have any limit for amount of time?
Amount of time, not so much weekly, although still don't like to work like 14 hours per day, but if let's say I have a course that it already means 40 hours, and then probably in the evening I do some writing, so it might be 50 more.
The next week,
but then I also try to have quite a few days when I do only writing, like 2-3 hours per day, and then 3-4 hours of biking, and then 5-6 hours of beer.
And what kind of hints would you give to young people who wanted to start working on the market, like IT or with SQL Server or such of?
Well, this is very broad and heavy question. What kind of hints? What is your message to these young people? First of all, I'm a little bit older generation, which means whatever I will say now will not be probably so aligned with current general perception. So one thing is I never planned my career, which is now unacceptable. You should know where you want to be, where do you see yourself in 2 or 3 or 5 years. Who knows? I mean, who knows? It's bullshit. In my opinion, it's bullshit. The most important thing is that you do whatever you do professionally. You do 100%, 110%. This is the most important part.
So just be involved.
And then success will come. But also the important part is that you do what you like and what you are talented for. Another big bullshit is that success is 99% of work and 1% of talent. It's probably the opposite. I mean, I'm not talented for ballet, so 99% of work wouldn't help me. Sorry. And I would never enjoy it. If something you do what is against your body, against your mind, my mind is like mathematical, logical. If something is illogical, it's hard. I cannot accept it, really hard to accept it, so I would suffer in this direction. So why would you go to that direction? Find what you like. This is typically what you like is many times the same thing what you are really capable of doing. And then just do it correctly, professionally. Never do it halfway. This is the most important. And then you see where you get.
Okay, very, very nice, very, very important one. Do you have any daily habits?
Yes.
What kind of?
Okay, so I really like to start a day with a cup of green tea. This is something that I do even, let's say, if I have flight at 3 a.m., I will wake up at 1 a.m. and have my cup of tea.
Okay.
Otherwise, I cannot start the day. I'm not so passionate about coffee. I do drink coffee, but this morning cup of tea is definitely something that I have to do, no matter of time.
Cup of coffee.
A cup of tea.
Exactly.
Cup of green tea. This is something I have to do every morning. This is habit. But what else? What kind of habits? I like to use every moment I can for sports. So if I, let's say, have a meeting somewhere 5 kilometers away, I try to walk there if it's possible. If I'm not in a hurry.
How often are you traveling across the Europe or across the wide world? Giving the sessions for the events.
In average, let's say more than 1 week per month. 1 week, maximum 10 days per month.
How are you preparing yourself for a speech? In the events.
Well, first I want to get the idea what I want to say, what I want to explain, and try to make story out of it. Then I think, how will I enforce this story with demos? So then I write the code and prepare the demos. And from this point it's simple. Then you just add slides and maybe some graphics if you have some good idea, and that's it.
And you prepare, just highlighting some special preparation, the repeating the subject, just refreshing your idea in your mind before you start session or something like this?
I'm doing this, like for 20 years. I'm trainer, and so it's kind of part of my life. So it's whenever I am solving some, let's say, real life problem in some consulting, or whenever I'm writing some books or articles, I immediately see this is something that is also worth talking about. So actually I kind of got ideas for presentations already in advance. And from that point it's usually easy.
So you have a lot of practice, so you don't need to special preparation.
Well, as I said, typically these presentations come from other work. So I already know the subject, I already worked on the subject. So you typically start from the other side. When I do something, right, or consulting or whatever, I immediately get an idea this could be interesting for a presentation as well.
Let's back to the books, because as I mentioned, you are author of many of books. So do you think, because on the market now we can download a bunch of the free books from the internet, do you think it's still worth to release the paper books or writing the books itself?
Well, there are many positive things here about writing the books. This free stuff is usually written very quickly, not so deeply. So it has still, there is limited knowledge inside. I'm not saying in general everything is bad, but most of the time these are like what's new in this SQL Server, what's new in that product, jump start to something. And if you really want to get deeper knowledge, then it's worth investing in more advanced books. From writing perspective, yes, all of this free stuff is affecting your income, but there are many other positive things. So first of all, you learn a lot. Whenever you do any development, any consulting, you always focus very narrowly on the problem you have. Once you solve it, you think that's it. You think you solved every problem in the world. When you write the book, you really need to check everything to get the full story, to check all possibilities, not just
have
solution.
The wider perspective.
Yes. So this is how you get really broad and also deep knowledge, which is very rare. Typically you have people with broad or people with deep and narrow knowledge. To get broad and deep knowledge, this is what writing books bring you. And this is a big advantage in current world. Right. There are so many over-specialized consultants that try to solve everything with a single tool, or there are those which are more like already salespeople, which know a little bit about everything. So this really gives you both broad and deep perspective. And the next thing, paper book is the best marketing tool still. There is nothing better. Let's say presentation on a conference like this, it's great. Maybe you are a great presenter, maybe you have a good day, you make a perfect presentation, but the next one after you is the best presenter ever, so people will simply forget you. And all of your effort is lost from marketing perspective. Book will be there on shelves for 10 years. even more before they will replace it and throw it away. Recycle. And so generations will see it. So generations will know your name.
And in that way you make you remember about you even better, yeah? Are you still learning something new about, technology or people yourself during such as conferences?
Definitely. I mean, I try still to learn, not that much as I used to, of course. Let's say that I'm already in the state where I forget more than I learn, but still try to, first I want to see what are the new technologies, where the world is going to, and then I pick up what looks something that I could like, and then I try to learn it.
What do you think about this extension with the analytics language like R and Python in SQL Server engine?
I think it's quite a good idea. They solved a couple of big problems with this data mining, data science, machine learning projects. Like, if you look at especially at R, open source, typically it's not scalable, not very secure. So by having this in SQL Server with these scalable libraries and SQL Server security, it's finally enterprise ready. Same thing about Python, although Python is not so specifically analytical language, it's more general language. But for analytical part, it gives really a lot of power to let's say existing Python developers, or even more to SQL Server developers, for which R is maybe overkill. But having possibility to write some code in Python and get this still very, very huge power of very powerful algorithms, really, and with all of the security and scalability, is really, really useful for many people. So I think for finally, let's say, this is enterprise ready. I'm not saying like data mining in analysis services is not enterprise ready, but it's limited. It's limited with the number of algorithms. It has own specific language, DMX language. So it has limited audience.
So you are tied with.
Now you have millions of R developers, millions of Python developers, and millions of SQL developers. Now you can combine both of all of these worlds. And solving these problems with security, scalability. So it seems like all of this data science is enterprise ready, but also ready for even small and medium business. You have all of this also in Express Edition. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. This is a good thing. Yes,
yes, great thing.
So all of those data scientists can now migrate to the SQL Server using the new version, using the Python and R.
SQL developers can switch to or improve their skills.
Yeah, absolutely. With the courses from Microsoft, to achieve the data science certificate. At the end of our conversation, because we are sitting in the one of the room at SQL Saturday in Slovenia at Ljubljana, tell me when this conference started.
The first SQL Saturday in Ljubljana was 5 years ago. So this is the 5th one. And
so basically, I think, from my perspective, this is one of the most popular SQL Saturday in Europe, maybe even in the world, because some people from the USA just, flying and coming here.
Yes, we have very, very international speakers and even audience. I guess it's quite popular.
Yeah. Do you remember how many submissions do you have this year?
150, more than 150.
Nice one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. So all the best then, and thank you for having me this year. I was the speaker
Thank
first
you for
time
speaking.
here. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for accepting my invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, listening this podcast, and time spent jointly.
You can find this podcast on website sqlplayer.net.
Share this episode if you like it, and let us know if you want to hear a specific person from SQL community, or maybe about interesting topic or technology.